you telling the country material arriving the next day. So why did you announce it if it's the role of the CEO?
The chairperson of the commission, and this is now in accordance with the governance of the structures, is the spokesman of the commission. Matters election, then the country would expect to hear from the chairperson. So all those, the announcement you're talking about, this information came from the CEO that we're having ballot papers arriving, and it's important to inform the country.
So, Chairman, I want to understand something.
Professor, that was way before July. In fact, I think maybe around June. And then there was a second trip by Commissioner Wanderi and the Vice Chair and other stakeholders, which was done later for presidential elections. So there were two distinct trips.
So, Chairman, in a nutshell, the Elections Act gives a very sequential order of how presidential elections are held. Number one, the elections of the polling station are in the prescribed form.
Yes.
Commissioner Irene must actually speak.
She spoke.
You remember?
Yes.
What was our words?
She said we should look at what the gentlemen have said seriously. We should consider.
Say consider.
The message here.
Was Nyangaya present at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Another?
On that day, that 3 a.m. in the morning. Was he present?
Who?
Nyangaya.
To my recollection, all commissioners were present.
My information was that he was asleep. He hadn't even woken up. Are you sure he was there that day?
My recollection is that all commissioners were present.
I'm just wondering, if you can't remember that Nyangaya had actually not woken up, he was not there, how will you be able to remember what's Chairman? Because he'll come here one day, another sitting, he'll say that he was never there, and he will actually show he wasn't there that morning of 3 a.m., and you're saying he was there.
What I recollect is all commissioners were present. I think that's my recollection, and that's what I've about.
Do you know the legal meaning of consider? Dictionary meaning of consider. You're a lawyer. What does it mean to consider?
Well, it just means what it says, consider. I'll think about it. I need to take it seriously. I don't know the exact dictionary meaning, the words given in the dictionary.
Chairman, as a lawyer, when when a layman says compound, it means compound.
Yeah.
But when a lawyer says compound, it means something else, compound. The same spelling, but different meaning. And consider, once the tribunal is done today's hearing, they'll go and consider this hearing. They'll go and consider.
You give some weight to thoughts to something. I believe that's what it means. Yeah.
So the meaning of consider is not to particular decision, but think through, ponder.
Yes, if the issue requires. So there are some issues you don't consider, like the discussions on at 3 a.m. in the morning. Those issues are not worth considering.
So at least, which you are correct. So at least at 3 a.m. we know there were no results. The next, when you met the next committee people, what time was it?
It was at 2 p.m. on 15th.
The NCAC people.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, then advisory committee.
Yeah.
So at that time again, you didn't have the results.
We had not received the Form 34C. It was still being printed by the CEO.
Yeah. So there were no results again.
We had not received the Form 34C, but the all the results had been tallied and verified, all the constituencies.
You told us that this group of people, they looked threatening and they basically threatened you. I mean, you looked threatened, you felt threatened and intimidated.
No, they didn't look threatened. It's a message.
Oh, it's a message?
The message they carried. And they said we should look at them carefully to see the composition of who they were.
So, Chairman, you've been the chair for 5+ years, about 6 years, senior lawyer, and you felt threatened, or there were threatening. My client has hardly been there for a year. So, from your own perception, how do you think she was feeling? Threatened, or she didn't care? I mean, because if the chairman is threatened, sure. What about the other commissioners?
It was, you have a team of people walking in with a message, and the message was such that, first, you don't expect such a message in a democracy, a country ruled by a rule of law.
And I agree with you on that, Chairman.
Yes. Then secondly, they are telling you this is a message from the National Security Advisory Committee. Of course, it's a threatening message, but as to whether I was threatened or not, I think is that your question?
No, you told me that, okay, maybe I rephrased it.
The message you was threatening.
Yeah, the message was threatening to you.
But for me, I just did my work. Of course, I was not threatened.
I imagine I agree with you, Chairman, that you did your work. What I'm just saying is about the effect of the words that they were threatening. The words were threatening. That's what you said. The words were threatening.
Yes, because of the nature of the message and the team that came with it.
And I'm saying you, as being a chair for 6 years, and the words were threatening, so you can imagine the effects of the same words or the same people on Commissioner Irene Masitu, who has been there for just a year.
I think she can speak for herself.
Okay.
I don't know how she felt.
Your position,
Yeah.
By that time, we didn't have results. And Marjan walked in at first. Let's go back. When you appointed Gulie to be the head of the presidential tallying process and the other commissioners to various roles,
meetings, subcommittee meetings, somebody has to steer the ship. And as
Chairman,
a chairperson, you must give guidance in any organization.
You don't call the commissioners,
yes.
They're only 6, and you tell them, I'm giving you this role, I'm giving you this role. Because my client tells me that she didn't even know until when they arrived in Bomas what role, what commission has been given. She got her own letter, and everyone got their own letter, and it was like confidential letter. So they didn't even know what roles they've been given. That's how you did it.
I assigned the commissioners' roles to which I believed would be help us to manage the Bomas operations. And I believe that each of them did their role. They didn't complain that I don't want to do this role, give me another role. Nobody complained.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
But you appointed Gulie and Marjan, CEO, to be basically in charge of presidential elections, the tallying and the verification process, because you made them alternate team leaders, which in law again is alternate is equal. It's basically co-equal. And Gulia admitted yesterday.
So what's the question?
So I'm saying,
yes.
Basically you made Marjan and Gulie have equal roles in the presidential tallying process.
They were co-chairs. What we needed at Bomas was a team that can deliver. As to Marjan is the CEO and professor, they each have a contribution. The Marjan manages the management, and the professor is a commissioner. So I don't think there was anything wrong with that.
Where was he? Because he wasn't there. At least if we watch all these videos of Bomas, we wouldn't see Gulie until the last day. So where was he all that time? What room was he in?
The Bomas structure within the main auditorium, there are holding rooms.
Yeah.
And then there's a VIP room.
Yeah.
So commissioners were oscillating between each of those rooms.
I'm asking about Guliye. Where was Guliye? Because he was a team leader for tallying and verification. Where was he situated?
I'm just telling you, there were no offices for commissioners. The way we have in anniversary towers, each commissioner with an office.
Yeah.
At Bomas, there were no offices for commissioners. We had the main auditorium, which is an open space.
Diligence to summon commissioners to discuss the issue of tallying and verification of presidential elections, the actual work of the commission, to tell them, Commissioner, so and so, this is your role, this is your role. But to meet visitors, you call them from whatever they're doing to come and meet visitors at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Let me say this: the duties. The duties you are, but all commissioners participated in the tallying and verification, and they were free to go wherever they wanted within the premises. So it's issue now. When you say about allocation of duties, the chairperson, and in any organization, somebody has to allocate duties.
I agree.
And you cannot sit and discuss now. Everybody will.
That's what the affidavit says.
Yeah.
He gave copies to each commissioner of the results. And remember, Chairman, you're the chairman of Iebc.
Yes.
And you know the meaning of results is not the results of a screen. That's not what the law says. So is it your position still that Marjan gave every commissioner the results?
He handed over to me, then I passed copies to all the commissioners.
You said a copy to each commissioner. Is that your position, Chairman?
Yeah. Every commissioner was given a copy.
Copy of the results?
Copy
how many
of
pages?
The results.
Each commissioner was given how many pages of results?
How many?
Pages of results.
There was one from 34C. We printed one copy of about 450 pages or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And then the summarized version of the results.
So what copy did you, what you said you gave a commissioner each copy? You know, that's English. You gave a commissioner each commissioner a copy. So what copy did you give to each commissioner?
What copy?
Yes, it's a summary.
The summarized copy.
The 3-page copy.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to get you the copy. It's actually in the affidavit, but I want to give you the copy. You see it. It's a 3-page copy. Give him this one. Just confirm to the tribunal that this is the copy each commissioner was given. Is that the copy, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, this is the one.
That's the one.
Yep.
So just let him have it. Look at just look at the information. Just tell the tribunal what the information is.
We better be guided the page where that is.
Oh no, it's okay. It's in the affidavit. It's you said it, in the affidavit of one day. Is it one day? I'll give you just in a minute, Peter. Chairman, sorry, we're taking our time, but this is crucial because it's actually what's important for. It's volume 2, page 157. Mr. Chairman, yeah. So, just what is in the first column, like you'll see county name, So basically, this entire report is a summary of the counties only.
All the counties.
47 counties.
Yes. And then there's also diaspora after the 47 counties, which includes prisoners.
But the Elections Act, as relating to Form 334C, what's the information supposed to be contained in Form 34C?
Form 34C is a summation of all the results from the polling station. That's Form 34A is what translates into 34C.
So 34C in the law has 40, how many polling stations?
46,229 polling stations. That's what we had in...
And 290 constituencies and 47 counties.
Yes.
So it's basically what you're saying, it's about 400, 500 pages document.
Yes.
So the law says Form 34C is supposed to be 500 pages. But here you're telling us that a 3-page document, which is a summary of counties only, is Form 34C. And you've been maintaining throughout in your affidavit and in your evidence in the morning.
The Form 34C, which was printed, is over 400 pages, 450 pages. This is a summation of the document for purpose of discussion by the
Chairman, you know, we began by you telling us compliance of the law is important, Chairman, and that's why I'm insisting. You've told us compliance of the law, and you've said that Commissioner Irene Masid broke the law. And I'm telling you now, the law is clear on what Form 34C is. Is that Form 34C, Chairman?
This is part of Form 34C.
No,
it's
no,
a summary of 34C. It's not 34C incomplete.
Chairman, I'm asking you, is that Form 34C?
I've answered you. It's not complete. Form 34C is a summation of 34S, and this then is a summary at the end.
Chairman, there's a format of Form 34C in the Elections Act, and I'm asking again, Chairman, is that the format prescribed? It's the Elections Act says in the prescribed format. Is that the prescribed format of 34C?
This is a summary at the end of the
Chairman,
form.
I'm saying, is that the prescribed format?
The Form 34C itself is in the format prescribed. You can show me 34C if you have it here. It was...
yeah, I want to show you the Form 34C, how it looks like. So we can... just give me a minute.
So that we can make progress. This is not Form 34, Form 34C.
That's what I need to confirm only.
This is a summation at the end of Form 34C. It's part of Form 34C.
It's part of, but it's not.
Yes.
It's not.
So, and in your affidavit filed in the Supreme Court, Chairman, did you file Form 34C?
We filed, first of all...
In your affidavit?
Yes, we submitted all the Form 34S, all Form 34Bs, and the entire Form 34C to the Supreme Court.
What I'm saying, Chairman...
Yes.
Chairman, in your affidavit, you refer to several documents. Is there any part of your affidavit that you've referred to 34C and annexed it? In your affidavit in the Supreme Court, not what you submit, but I'm saying in your affidavit. Even your lawyer can assist you. Show me one paragraph in there. There are 3 affidavits you filed in the Supreme Court. I just want one paragraph that you said, herewith annexed is Form 34C in the format prescribed in the Elections Act.
There was no need for that because prior, the law says immediately after an election petition is filed, the Commission must submit to the Supreme Court all the results in Form 34A, B, and C. And we had already submitted those documents to the Supreme Court.
You know,
so there was no need to annex them to my affidavit.
As a lawyer, if you file an appeal, if there is no notice of appeal, there is no record of appeal without notice of appeal. It's the mandatory document. When it comes to presidential elections, unless there is Form 34C, where do you declare your results without Form 34C? It's a crucial document that is supposed to be in your affidavit.
I'm saying the documents were already filed to the Supreme Court in accordance with the law. And the Supreme Court deliberated that matter and arrived at a judgment on the 5th of September.
What time did you announce the results, Mr. Chairman? Presidential results, what time?
I don't remember the exact time, but it was around 6 p.m. On the 15th of August.
What time did you upload Form 34C in the format prescribed in the Elections Act in the IEBC portal?
As tallying and verification was ongoing, Form 34C was automatically generated into the system and uploaded to the public portal.
You know, there's the populating and what have you, but
Yes.
the final Form 34C, it says, the Act says you publish the entire Form 34C before announce the results. Did you ever upload the entire Form 34C before announce the results?
The sequence of events was that after the agents had signed the result from that 4C, it was uploaded, and I think that then you can get evidence from the records in the server, but it was uploaded to the best of my knowledge.
My instructions, Chairman, is until today, we don't have Form 34C in the IEBC portal.
And what I can say is that Form 34S, Form 34Bs, and the entire Form 34C was uploaded to the server. And the server kept on running until I think it was deactivated in end of
There's
November.
a server and there's
Yes.
a portal. There's a server which no one is accessing. But I'm
portal
saying
is just
public
as-
portal. I'm saying the public. Can someone access it? If we now we log on to IEBC now, can we get the 34C in
The
in
server,
format?
the public portal is actually a server, runs on a server. And all the forms were uploaded through the August period, September, October, November. And maintaining the server being an expensive affair, I think the commission deactivated it at the end of November because it requires a lot of money to maintain the firewalls. So if you logged in now, it will not be there, but it was there up and running until November.
We can always get
30th November, and that evidence is there.
So you're saying there's evidence that it was actually uploaded on the system?
All the forms.
Not the forms, not the forms. You know the law says
And that 4C was not just uploaded, but shared again with hard copies were shared with all the presidential candidates and the agents subsequent to the declaration, during declaration and after. So they were uploaded and they were shared. So those documents are out there.
so. The meetings again of 3 a.m. and 2 p.m. There were no results. Peter likes saying that I like legal maxims, law maxims. You know the maxim ex nihilo nihil fit.
Sorry?
Ex nihilo nihil fit. Nothing comes out of nothing. So if there were no results, there was nothing to be moderated. There was nothing to be discussed.
Well, that's your opinion, but the commissioners were part and parcel of the process, and the exercise had been completed.
I'm saying,
And,
that is, that's a legal principle. Nothing comes out of nothing. By the way, the results that the commissioners kept going to read to the public, you're aware they were handwritten. They were never typed.
Well, the
None of them was
process, just to take you back, the Form 34S came with the returning officer together with 34B, and where there were a bit of errors in the Form 34B, it was corrected, and before posting into populating the Form 34C. So where there were those corrections, I think that could be on the Form 34B. And that's where the handwritten issues may be coming in. But whatever was written was in agreement with agents and the teams that were on the
No, but I'm saying they were just
floor.
handwritten for the record. They were not, they were...
Not all of them, but
Most of them.
a number of them.
Just to go back, when, you've been with the three commissioners, Molu and Gulia, for basically 6 years. So you had built a kind of a comradeship with the three of them. When the four joined you in September, did you do anything to bond the groups, the two groups, to gel? Did you create a unified commission?
About comradeship, I don't know. We were just working.
It's public perception, it's public knowledge, Chairman, that we always saw the three of you and the other four were together. The three of you were separate. So I don't know. Maybe it's not perception. We have it wrong.
I don't know where you saw. In the commission, we worked together, and as your client, everybody we were free with each other, and we took all the trouble to ensure that the new commissioners were up to speed, including.
But did you gel the groups? Did you try to create one unified commission?
We had various retreats. Yeah. We had trainers. We bonded and we gelled, and we took them through the process of elections, which it's documented.
When you finished reading the results on 15th of August, you told us, the other commissioners said they went to hide. Did you also go to hide?
No, I went to my house, okay. And I was in my house throughout. I didn't go to hide anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know Peter Chalanga? Have you met him? A person called Peter Chalanga?
No, I've not met Peter Chalanga.
When you had the issue of the materials at the airport, when they were seized the materials, the election materials, and somewhat it was resolved. You didn't have a role in the resolution of the. Okay. Let me ask a blunt question. Did you meet the president to resolve the issue? On
which materials?
When they were seized at the airport from those, what is it, Venezuelans or what? There were some materials you were seized at the airport, which was public knowledge.
Yes.
Did you meet the president to resolve it?
No, I didn't meet the president, but the issue was resolved.
When the Venezuelans were arrested, did you meet the president?
During that time?
Yes.
When?
The Venezuelans were arrested.
No, I did not meet the president.
Did you talk to him?
No, I didn't talk to the president.
And the material was seized, did you talk to him?
No.
But they were somewhat resolved.
I spoke with the Director of Criminal Investigations and the Inspector General of Police on those issues.
As I say again, Chairman, all this is one day will come out, how it was done. But for now, we'll just leave it like that. When did you know, at what point did you know the results were ready to be announced?
At what point?
Yes, what time of the day?
What time, when Marijan brought them, I can't tell the exact time, but it was around, maybe around 4 p.m. or thereabouts.
So this was 15 August? 15th of August?
Yes, 15th of August.
When did you send out invites? With what date?
The invites for declaration was...
No. Yeah. To the presidential candidates, to either both or one of them, to attend the results.
I think that was done in the morning when we had finished with the verification and tallying. Then we invited them to come at 3, hoping that we've gone through all the other processes by then.
My information, Chairman, and I've seen the documents that you can send invites on 12th of August. Can you remember?
Sorry? I didn't.
You send invites on 12th of August.
I don't think that's true. The invites must be dated. If they're here, you can show me the one. You can show me the one you are referring to.
You gave approval on 12th of August.
I don't remember that.
We'll ask again. We'll know. Chairman, do you know the 4 petitioners who have filed to remove, who filed this petition initially? There is Reverend Dennis Nzumbi, Geoffrey Langat, War Steve Jerry, and the other guy, the chairman of the other party, is called Volume 1. Zakaria Matayo.
I don't know them personally.
Have you met them?
No, except I think from what I've seen on TV, I think I can maybe pick out a few faces in this room now, but I have not met them before.
So just finally, So you're not a witness of these 4 people?
They are not the ones who brought me.
You
I was
invited
brought here
friend,
by
the tribunal.
Yeah, tribunal.
Just for the record, so we know
yes,
that.
I was invited by the tribunal.
So you did not play any part in preparing the 4 petitions filed in National Assembly? Did you play any part in preparing the petitions?
No, I did not.
Were you aware of them?
I was only aware when the matters went before the parliament.
But you were not aware before?
No.
Finally, Chairman, do you have confidence in the Supreme Court as an institution of this country, established by the Constitution of Kenya? Do you have confidence in our Supreme Court?
Yes, sir, yes, I do. Well, it's part of the rule of law, and we respect the judiciary, not just the Supreme Court, but all the courts as an arm of government. And
do you have confidence in this tribunal set up by the Constitution and Article 251?
Yes, I do.
So last week when you were presenting your final post-election evaluation report, I mean, I watched in the media again, I heard you in the media, you were calling for establishment of commission of inquiry.
Yes.
On the election dispute.
Yes.
I have read your report, the post-election report. Nowhere in the report have you made any allegations, have you made any adverse findings on the process, even in your forwarding letter, in the covering letter in the report. So I just want to understand, in what context did you now go outside the report and outside your own covering letter in the report to call for establishment of a commission of inquiry? Is it that you didn't trust or you didn't like the Supreme Court judgment, or you don't have faith in this tribunal? I just want to understand the context, because you know this process is ongoing. You knew the Supreme Court decision. So what was it that made you ask for a commission of inquiry?
We ran a transparent election, I believe, free, fair, transparent election. And if you notice from the last 3 elections we have had, 2013, 2017, under the new constitution, we've been improving gradually. In the last election, everything went well except the incidents at Bomas and also in some areas like Narok and other counties where there was some violence. And where I sit, as I leave the commission, I believe that we should never have a repeat of those incidents. We must get to the root of it to ensure that that doesn't. That's the only problem we have as a country, that those incidents happen. And I believe a commission of inquiry would perhaps be the best way. And not just me, the commission actually wrote to the president to look into how that can be set up.
But
yes.
You know, Chairman, what I'm saying as we conclude this thing is, we had our worst election violence in 2007. Our elections were nullified in 2017. Our elections were upheld in 2022, and the Supreme Court said they were excellent elections. So I want to understand the context and your motivation in asking for a commission of inquiry in 2022, which Supreme Court found was near perfect, and not calling for 2017 inquiry, 2007, or is your memory limited, or, I mean, historical memory is limited?
Well, I don't understand the question.
I'm saying we've had worse situation. We have 2017, which we chaired, which was nullified, and there was violence in 2017. We had very limited violence in 2022, but they're very limited. But you call for commission of inquiry in 2022. So if you're saying, as you've claimed yourself by that, you know, under the Evidence Act, when you claim, you take the high road section of the Evidence Act, your own integrity must be put into question as a witness. So you've called for commission of inquiry to 2022 elections when there was no violence. We didn't have much killings. We had killings in 2007, and we had elections nullified in 2017. You were the chairman in 2017. If you are riding the high moral, I mean, you're working on the high moral ground basically, and asking for elections commission of inquiry of 2022, should have had the same courage to ask from 2017 until now. Why didn't you ask from 2017 until 2022?
There was no violence in 2017. What we are talking about here is violence. We are talking about individuals attempting to subvert the will of the people. None of these issues were there earlier. And this can only be unearthed in,
Chairman, under your watch,
a situation
2017,
like this one.
people were actually killed in your commission. 2019, there were threats, even on you. So you should have asked for actual commission of inquiry for 2017 and 2022. I'm saying, if you, following your sequence of thought, you cannot be selective on 2022 and not 2017. Chairman, just before I conclude, just before I leave you, I don't want to, the final issue. The Supreme Court judgment, my last issue, Supreme Court judgment, actually voided Regulation 87 that you kept using to run a one-man show at Iebc. You remember the regulation was nullified by the Supreme Court judgment, 2022?
Yes.
And the Supreme Court in its finding again, Chairman, they read your affidavits, your 3 affidavits. They read the affidavits of all the other commissioners. And they came to the conclusion that the dispute between the 3 of you and the other 4 commissioners was a boardroom dispute. They had your issues in the affidavit about the 3 a.m. meetings, 2 p.m. meetings, about the press conference of Serena. The Supreme Court had all those issues, and they reached a finding. So as a chair, as a lawyer, you filed 3 affidavits before the Supreme Court, and you made all those allegations. You gave the Supreme Court all the documents which we've not been provided for. And the Supreme Court did not find anything wrong with the conduct of the 4 commissioners. They don't even find anything wrong with the other 3 commissioners. They don't find anything wrong with the Iebc as a whole. The only thing they found was that it was internal issue, it was administrative dispute, which should be fixed by the commission. So why do you still want Commissioner Irene Masit to be followed for the events of 15 August when the Supreme Court already had it and determined it?
Well, as I said, the Supreme Court had 9 issues for determination. 9. And all those issues were dealt with. There was no issue as to the governance structures of the Iebc. If there was, then we could have filed a relevant affidavit to that effect. But having said so, I think the recommendations of the Supreme Court is what informs part of the post-election evaluation, and I believe those issues will be addressed by the incoming commission.
Chairman, have you read of the judgment, paragraphs 2008 to 244 of the judgment of the Supreme Court? They actually made findings on the affidavits.
Yes, I'm saying the issues for determination. As a council, you know, we answer to the issues for determination. And the issue about how the commission is governed was not one of the issues. If it was, we would have filed relevant documentation to give the Supreme Court a chance to make a finding on whether the commission follows those governance structures or not. And I believe those findings could not have been the same if we had that opportunity to put the documentation before the Supreme Court.
My understanding of the judgment is that they actually reached conclusions on the conduct of the commissioners, the 7 commissioners, and made findings in paragraph 243, and the last final findings of the judgment. So again, I'm asking, if the Supreme Court had your affidavit, let's say again, let me agree with you that they did not reach a finding on it, but they had your affidavit in which you set out the disputes. You set out the meetings of 3 a.m. in the morning, or 2 o'clock Serena conference. So if there was anything wrong with those incidences, why didn't the Supreme Court decide on them? And they had the evidence before them.
I think that's for the Supreme Court to say. I don't know what the judges considered or did not consider, But all I know is that all those affidavits were filed around the same time on 26th, 27th, and there was no time for filing further affidavits and rebuttals and so forth because of the limited time we were given. So I believe we put what we could in terms of focusing on the issues that had been set for determination.
No, because when you spoke initially, Chairman, you were so into the word, can I say, emotional about it, that there was like breach of the constitution. There was like an intention to subvert the will of the people. When did you file your affidavit?
To the Supreme Court?
Yes.
I think they were done on the 26th
of August.
Of August.
The incidents you're referring to are 15th of August. You had 2 weeks to do, about 11 days to do the affidavit. So if you are so minded that there was an intentional will to subvert the constitution or to the will of the people, because you set it out in the affidavit, and it was dealt with by the Supreme Court. So my issue is that why is it being revisited? It has been dealt with by the Supreme Court. Should it be with finality? Do you have an issue against Commissioner Irene? You don't have to sit in the commission?
I'm here on invitation of counsel for the tribunal. And what I came to say is that what I said in the affidavit is true to the best of my knowledge on events that happened. As for Commissioner Masid, what I've said is what she said, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes.
Re-examination.
Yes, I'll have five issues to re-examine. Mr. Chebukati.
Yes.
At the beginning of cross-examination, you asked whether you had any issues with Commissioner Irene Masit, and then there's one specific issue you picked but you didn't explain. You said that you had an issue she had filed cases against the commission. Kindly clarify.
Sorry?
When you were being asked whether you had any challenge or a problem with Commissioner Irene Masit,
yes,
you made a comment and said we had a case, they filed affidavits against the commission. Kindly clarify what you mean and what was the issue here.
About the commissioner filing affidavits?
Yes, against the commission.
In the presidential election petitions 2022, the governments, the Commissioner Masit filed an affidavit where she deponed to the effect that she didn't agree with the election results and they should be nullified, and made various allegations which in my view are not true about the commission.
Did the commission sanction that affidavit? No. Those facts?
No, we did not.
You say they were not true?
They were not true.
Right. Second issue, page 230 of volume 4. I am aware you are not a party in this matter, but it has a gazette notice. Was it ever challenged, set before court or anything by Commissioner Irene Masit or anyone?
No issue was raised about this gazette notice until today I'm hearing, and I think when matters went before the Supreme Court. But the commissioners did not raise any issue.
Even in your sittings, did she ever raise any issue about these notices at all?
Absolutely not. No issue was raised about it.
It's the first time you're hearing.
Yes.
Right. Third, there's an issue raised about allocation of duties to different commissioners and staff of the commission.
Yes.
Was the Commissioner Irene Masit allocated? Did she challenge or raise issues before today?
As I mentioned, the only issue was she did not want to work with Commissioner Wanderi. When that was resolved, she continued with her duties as allocated.
Thank you.
Yes.
Second last question. There are so many questions raised on forms right, Form 34C, and Mr. Kipkorir, counsel for Commissioner Masit, mentioned paragraph 208 to 244 of the judgment, and he mentioned it. 244A, there was a clear finding. He mentioned 244. Did the court make a finding on those issues in 244A? If yes, what?
Yes, 244A, where the court said we are satisfied as a find that notwithstanding the divisions apparent between the chairperson and the 4 commissioners, Iebc carried out the verification, tallying, and the declaration of results in accordance with Article 138, 3C, and 10 of the Constitution. That was the finding.
So that issue settled?
Yes.
Right. The last thing, paragraph 8 of that judgment, you mentioned about the issues before the Supreme Court. Jasim, the first paragraph 8 of that judgment. Remember, when you're being asked whether you have confidence in the Supreme Court,
yes,
or this tribunal, you've mentioned that there were 9 issues. Now, clarify, are those the issues that are set in paragraph 8 of the judgment, and do they relate with the issue before the tribunal, this tribunal?
I go through them?
No, just confirm whether they're the ones.
Yes, they are the ones. These are the 9 issues before the Supreme Court, which were canvassed before the Supreme Court.
Right. What about, is the issue before the tribunal part of those? Well, also, was it part of the issues that were before?
The issue about?
Before this tribunal?
No, it's not part of these 9 issues.
It is not part of those 9 issues.
Yes, yes.
Many thank you, and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members. I would leave it at that unless the tribunal members have any question.
Mr. Chebukati, we thank you for finding time to be with us, and wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you. To leave, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. On behalf of this part, we wish to say we are grateful for the indulgence and the time to taken in all our